Here we are at 9:20 right now. I want to switch gears because a new report from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce reveals this, well, it's called a quiet transformation. It's happening on Main Street. Small businesses are rapidly embracing advanced technologies like AI and crypto to transform how they operate and grow. So here to discuss these findings, what that means for you, for America's small businesses around the country, is Jordan Crenshaw. He's the Senior Vice President at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce's Technology Engagement Center. Jordan, thank you so much for joining us here on the Live Impact Studio.
Good morning, Jane.
All right, so let's talk about this report. And, like I said, AI, crypto growing faster than many expected. How are small businesses utilizing it? And what about these findings surprised you?
Well, what we found is that small businesses are embracing AI and different types of emerging technology. And what we found is actually there was a very sharp increase in usage this year. In fact, a record number, 60% of small businesses across the U.S. are using some form of generative artificial intelligence. And that's, things like ChatGPT, coding AI, as well as Google Gemini, for example. But one of the interesting things here is that we actually looked at crypto usage among small business owners. And what we found is that about a third of small business owners are in some way using crypto in their small business in North Carolina. So what we found is, not surprisingly, is that small business owners are embracing this tech and they're thriving.
All right. So how are they using this on a day-to-day operation?
Well, AI is really a force multiplier. And, one of the things that is really important to know about small businesses is they don't have the same resources from a time standpoint or financially to compete against larger companies, especially when they're getting started. And what we found is that these small business owners are really innovative in how they're using generative AI. They're using it to streamline marketing. They're sourcing alternatives to products in the wake of potential tariffs and inflation, and even using it for things like product design and designing equipment on their manufacturing floor. And the real thing we've learned here is that AI is working. Just in North Carolina, 90% of small business owners who are using generative AI have reported that they actually had increased workforces compared to their competitors who are not using it.
Oh, okay, because that is the question, right? What happens to people? What happens to workers? Are we going to replace them with AI? So what is it about enhancing a small business that is able to increase the workforce?
Well, when a small business gets a great idea, and it's usually one or two people who are starting it off, and they don't have the capital of a larger company, they need to get any competitive advantage they can get to compete, and that's either cutting costs or cutting time that they're spending on things like back-end work, so that they can actually focus on providing the product or the service directly to the consumer that they love to do. I had an opportunity to chat with a coffee shop owner who is in San Francisco, who said he's using generative AI to cut down his marketing time down by about 70%, so that he can spend more time with this handful of employees who are using this technology. And he's been able to grow his business, and he has a great online e-commerce sales system in place. So these small businesses can grow, and then they can take on new employees. And this small business owner, Hrog, at Henry's House of Coffee in San Francisco, he's now passing this knowledge along to his fellow employees and his baristas. He actually has an innovation hour on Wednesdays and teaches them how to use this tech to prepare them in the workforce. And so what we're seeing is with increased growth comes increased employment, and it really is providing the opportunity for small business owners to maximize their dreams there. So it's really an exciting revolution we're seeing in this space.
Yeah, okay, so let's talk about the challenges then. What kind of obstacles would prevent small businesses to check out the AI, or that might be intimidated by AI or crypto?
Well, one of the things that small business owners are particularly concerned about is a growing legal environment that's complex, that's hard for them to stay afloat. As I mentioned earlier, small business owners, they have limited resources in both finances and time as they're trying to compete. And that's true for compliance and for even potentially having to hire lawyers for things like frivolous litigation. And what we found this year is a record number nationwide this year. 65% of small business owners are concerned about a patchwork of 50 states creating their own different laws on things like AI that would make it practically impossible for them to comply and is effectively a new tax on doing business for them. And so it's important that Congress gets to work and passes a federal framework that would stop the states from creating confusion for these small business owners. And also looking even at crypto too, what we found was that 70% of small business owners said that if there was a little bit more regulatory clarity around crypto, they'd be more likely to use that tech as well. But the name of the game here really is we need certainty and predictability and the rules that are made so that small businesses have the ability to stay afloat.
All right. So for the small business owner that's watching right now who is interested but doesn't know where to start, your advice to them?
Go out there and experiment with the technology. There are great resources online. We've seen many great small business owners self-teach themselves how to use this technology on things like YouTube. But there's also some greater resources out there to dive deeper into learning how to get the most out of prompting AI systems. The U.S. Chamber and our partner Co., which is our small business hub here at the Chamber, has some really great resources online about how small businesses are utilizing this tech. But there are also great examples of training programs at local chambers of commerce and community colleges that are helping here as well. So there's a lot of really great resources I would encourage folks to get out there and utilize.
All right. It is the frontier, not even the new frontier. It's like happening right now. So a lot of people will probably get a good leg up if they listen and go to those resources. Thanks, Jordan. Appreciate your time this morning.
Thanks, Jane.
Jordan Crenshaw from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, letting us know how small businesses can utilize AI as well as crypto and how they're doing it to advance their own business.